Ready.
Set.
Gamecast.
Welcome to Ready, Set, Gamecast, a bi-weekly podcast about video games.
And
Why'd you stop?
I don't know. I didn't know if you would, how long you'd be gone.
I was trying to
I
figure
think
out why
this
my
is the
other
real
cat.
intro. This is
Nope.
beautiful.
No, it's not.
Let's just go with it. So
Welcome
my
to
small
Ready,
cat
Set-
is outside my office screaming, and my big cat is inside my office, just like confused, like what's going on?
Welcome to Ready, Set, Gamecast, a bi-weekly podcast
Cats are
about
so
video
indecisive
games
about
and
coming
wedding
in the
songs.
door or just staying
I'm
out.
Bryce, and I'm joined by my groom's lady, Darian.
Wait, groom's lady, what? Am I gonna be in your wedding party?
I mean, maybe. We'll see. And
Is it going to be Mario Party themed?
what? No, why?
I don't know.
What about me is
I
like,
don't know.
that's where I'd go with my life. And sitting at table 3, it's Matt.
Hey, how's it going? Table 3 is not bad. That's like, I don't have to be in the party, right? I'm just there.
Yeah. You're just
I get to enjoy everything.
Yeah. I guess it depends on how many tables there are. If there's 3 tables, that's like, okay, you're last on the string. But if there's like 10, you're like, okay, I'm like this is a good level of friendship.
Even if there's 3 tables, I feel like table 3 is still pretty good then. Because like that's pretty small and exclusive, and you made it.
Yeah. Everybody else has to stand though.
Yeah.
There's like 100 people there, but we're like only 3 tables.
That's why it's Mario Party themed. You have to go around the board. Oh man, you could do something with this Mario Party wedding.
What songs do you want to dance to at your fancy good time wedding?
What is it? The
Avatar.
athletic theme from Mario. I guess the main theme's pretty good. Da 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 da. That'd be good.
Just how would you dance to that?
Like totally ridiculously.
I'd probably just floss at this point in my life.
God. No. Darian, what song do you want to dance to at your wedding?
Do I want to dance to?
Yeah.
None. I don't want to have to dance at my wedding.
Oh, well, okay. I think it's at your reception.
I don't want to dance there either.
I'm seeing the Mii Plaza and the Wii theme, the Wii shop. Get something bossa nova-y. It'd be pretty good.
I almost consider the reception like the real wedding because it's like the part
Simple and clean.
the part where you're saying your vows.
Don't
I'm like,
think twice.
I'm not. I would. The one that I'm probably going to go with is the Book of Love.
Sephiroth's theme.
Okay.
So David wants the Avatar's love song to play while I'm walking down the aisle, and I countered and I was like, what about the Halloween theme? What if that played while I walked down the aisle?
The Book of Love by Peter Gabriel is the song that I would dance to.
I don't know what that is.
It's very good. To play it for your romantic partner, and they'll swoon. They'll swoon so hard. I mean, it'd probably work better if David did it for you, but
There's
I'd be
lyrics
down to
it.
have the Final Fantasy level up fanfare.
it's literally like I feel like it's designed to be like a first dance song. It's about wedding and shit. I dance to it with Erin with like all the lights in my house were like synced to the music and stuff, and she swooned real hard.
Yeah, no, I want the Sephiroth theme to play while I walk down the aisle. It sounds amazing.
Well, speaking of games with music, this brings us to what have you been playing? Coming in with the least amount of games, it's Matt.
Yeah. I
honestly feel like that was the Morthos voice for a second.
Morthos. Yeah, I don't know that I've played a lot of stuff in the past 2 weeks. I played Among Us yesterday with a group of people. We tried the like slasher mode where you know who the killer is. It's hide and seek, I guess is probably the right term.
Oh, I didn't know that's a thing.
It's not like you just manipulate the rule set and then play by a specific set of rules. So it's like
Yeah, that one's really fun.
Imposter has like no vision. Everybody else has full vision.
And
You
everybody's
sabotage
got super
comms.
speed.
Yeah, everybody's got speed. You only have the short tasks, and you're trying to complete your tasks before the killer gets everybody. And
you
like
don't
since
report bodies.
yeah, you don't report bodies. If
You
that
don't call
happens,
meetings.
you just don't vote. So it's pretty good because it's like quicker rounds. You can talk to each other throughout and like harass each other when you know who the killer is, or like kind of say, oh, they're over in electrical, but no, they're not. They're really actually in weapons and gonna get you. And so it's a good time. Yeah, so Among Us is still going when I can get a group together.
Yeah, I don't have it on my list because I actually have a lot of stuff. But yeah, I played that for the first time during my actual live stream with you guys. It was
That was hilarious.
That was a good time.
Oh my god, I had a great time with that.
It took a while for me to kind of learn what was going on. I never did imposter. I was innocent the whole time, but good times. I feel like people listening to this podcast probably don't need to tell you
learn what Among Us is. Yeah.
Let us tell you about this indie game Among Us. You've probably never heard of it.
I don't know. I'm ready for them to update the game a bit. I've seen people streaming with like the beta changes, and there's some good ones there. Like the taskbar won't increase until you have a meeting with everybody, and then it'll go up. So people can't just like sit there and watch somebody fake a task and know if they faked it or not. They also have anonymous voting where when you vote, you just have a little gray guy. So everybody can you can say, I skipped, and then vote for somebody and you wouldn't know.
That sounds amazing.
So there's some like good changes they have in the beta version. And I don't know. I think it's like they could release that. It seems stable enough. People seem to be streaming with it just fine.
I feel like the one issue with Among Us is that like people who have played a while definitely like can meta game over people who haven't played at all.
Yeah.
And so you basically need to learn the game with people who haven't played.
Yeah, you need the right group of people that will be like generous enough for new players.
Yeah.
Because I've seen instances of both where it's just like people go way too hardcore on and they're like, okay, you faked this task, you didn't go here, you did, and it's just like, let them play the game they just started. Let them figure it out.
When my first night ever playing, I had that happen. I had somebody who was a friend of a friend got invited, so it was like someone I never have to see again. But he and I were playing, and I was a crewmate. And he was like hardcore, like, you're the imposter, you're da-da-da. And I was like, I have no idea what you're even talking about. I don't know this map. Like, give me a minute. I'll look up the map so I can tell you where I was because I don't know what's going on. And he just kept screaming at me. So I just left and I was like, I'm not playing with you guys anymore. Yeah. And then everybody else in the Discord like kicked that person. They were all like, I'm sorry. Please come back. That person was a dick. And I was just like, thanks, guys.
Yeah. I feel like I've had that experience across games generally, like back when I was playing Destiny and learning like to do the raid the first time, is just like in random groups with people on the internet, and it's just sometimes you just get people that you never want to see again, and then sometimes it's like, okay, maybe this person's going to join my raid group forever now because they seem really solid.
Right. Like, wow, this person takes this too seriously. I don't want to talk to them again. Or this person could be my friend forever.
Yeah. But yeah, other than Among Us, mostly just Astrologaster because that game was a lot longer than I thought.
Yeah, that's all right.
We'll talk about that though.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Well, I will go next, and I have quite a few because I was not on the last episode, though neither was Darian. I've played a number of games, and I will start off with Mario Kart Home Circuit.
Oh yeah.
So a thing that you might know about me is that I love gadgets. Just the random stuff that like, does this need to exist? No, but I want it anyway. So I picked up Mario Kart Home Circuit, which, if you don't know, is a game where you buy a physical Mario Kart with a camera on it, and you drive the little RC car around using your Nintendo Switch, and it looks like you're in a Mario Kart map that you have created using your own home. Some things to note: I have fairly thickish carpet. Well, it's not like the thickest, but it's like thicker. It did work. He was slow. He would get caught on the carpet itself occasionally, but for the most part, it worked. As you can tell, if you're looking on the video, the wheels don't really go that much farther than the car itself.
Yeah, not a lot of clearance.
Yeah, so it doesn't really take too much for him to get caught. I do think that like this would be much better if they had just given bigger wheels. The car itself is really not that big.
What is like the build quality of that? Because right now it looks like plasticky plastic.
It is hard plastic. It is very good. Like here, it can take a beating because what's cool about it is that I set up chairs that like he would drive under, which was cool, and then you can make like physical barriers that make it harder to play. I think that's better for if you're playing with other people using carts, because if you just have one cart, you can play against AI, and the AI aren't giving a crap of like, oh, I got to go around this deal. They're just kind of driving around the little where they think the course is based on how you drove the first time.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, and I like at best playing several races got second. And there's the element of like the AI, doesn't have to avoid the real life obstacles, and also I'm on carpet. I think the game was not accounting for that on a hardwood or probably less shaggy carpet. You'd probably be able to drive better, faster. But I had several issues, but like it was cool being able to drive a little kart in with my Nintendo Switch, and it looked like you were in Mario Kart. Like the AR worked really well. The build quality is really good. I bashed it several times, and he actually like has a little animation where like for when you crash into stuff, it like can sense it. It's really cool.
What comes in the box? Is it just the cart and a download code?
No, so you get the cart. The game is on the Nintendo Switch eShop. So yeah,
it's just a download.
Yeah, and then you get the gates. The gates and two like arrows signs. The game doesn't need the arrow signs, but it recognizes them. Like they have like cool rainbowy effect in game, but you need to use all four gates so they know like where the racetrack is. You could set them in a straight line, or you could do whatever. You just need to use all four gates. You probably do need to weigh them down, because if you bump the gates, the track gets messed up. There is very important to like for the game to know where stuff is. Build quality is very good. Like I said, I bashed it several times against the chairs, and you really can't tell any issue. I really like the way that they did the charging port, where you kind of just click this up and the charging port's
nice.
there. So it like looks very good. I'm very happy with the way it looks. I got the Luigi one. So that's Mario Kart Home Circuit. I bought it for $90 at Target. Yeah. No. Walmart. I bought $90 at Walmart. Would I recommend this? Probably not. This would be a very good thing if you were like, I love gimmicky BS. It like.
Did you buy a Labo?
I've got several Labos in the other room. I bought them on discount. I didn't buy them full price. I'm not that crazy, but I do have Labos, and I saw the VR one for like $50, and I'm like, maybe, just because I was like, it could be fun to play Breath of the Wild in VR. Probably once is the only time I'll ever do it, but it's fun to have these unique experiences that like other people probably aren't going to play this stuff, but it's cool.
How big of a room do you need for like a circuit? Like in that demo video, it was like that living room is gigantic.
I used my office. Well, okay, so I used my living room originally to kind of do a test thing. It was like, okay, this works, but these corners are super, super tight. So you could probably make it work. I feel like if you have a hardwood, you're gonna have an easier time probably doing all of this stuff. I had a pretty small living room area when we tried it just to do a test run, and it works. Yeah, I don't think you need too big of a room just because the cart's so small that you could probably...
actually seeing you hold up the cart, it was like, that's smaller than I thought it would be, having seen like the videos.
Yeah, let me find my Switch controller. I was like, I think the Switch controller is about on par for the size of it. Okay, I don't know where a Switch controller is, but I have an Xbox controller. So Xbox controller.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so... I kind of wish it didn't have the little things that stick out on the back because it's like they don't really add anything to it, but it makes it more likely to get caught on stuff. But yeah, it's interesting. It's super gimmicky. I think it would be more fun to race two people because the AI like is playing by their own rules. So playing with other people with carts, I think, is the ideal situation.
So better as a toy than like a game, like a video game.
Yeah, for sure. This is not a good game. This is a good toy and an expensive toy. Yeah, so that's that. The AR works really well. I will say that about it. It works really well. It's fun to drive around. Oh, another thing I'll note about it, the wirelessness, have issues with it. I do have like thicker walls, but like driving from one room to another, like on the other side of this wall, I pretty much could not play anymore.
Huh. Okay.
So it might just like I live in a thick brick building, so that there's that. But I almost wish it like linked up to my Wi-Fi or something to just use like the signal that I have going through my house. But no, it uses the Switch's signal. Yeah, the signal's iffy. You could theoretically just follow your cart around with your Switch if you wanted to drive it farther, but if you want to like stream it or anything like that, you have issues with that. Next game I played was the Red Lantern, a roguelite.
Yeah, I would say that's how it's formatted. Yeah,
a roguelite game about dog sledding in Alaska. You play a girl who I guess is fed up with the big city life and brings her dog to Alaska, and you adopt 4 other dogs because I believe the team is 5. And then you I guess bought a house, a little cabin out in the Alaska wilderness, and
that sounds nice. All of that.
And the entire goal of the game is just to reach that cabin.
Oh, I thought you were doing the Iditarod race.
Yeah, I did too. But no, that doesn't seem to be the case. You're just, I guess, trying to reach the cabin, and I was once I finished that, I got credits, and because she had like talked about racing and stuff, but I don't know if that's just like a story thing. And then I was like, okay, when it credits, it's like, okay, does the dog racing thing happen now? But when I did a new run, it just started me back at the reach the cabin. So the kind of cool thing, so you start the game by picking your dogs, and I think you have like 9 to pick from. And you kind of go to these different houses and you see these dogs, and you like get a little impression of them. The chick might say like, oh, the owner says that like, oh, you're looking for a challenge, or oh, the owners say that like you eat a lot. So you get like an idea of them, and then you can pick 4 dogs to form your team. And then you start the actual like journey. And so like the dogs you picked are going to have like things that matter of like, I had a dog that every time there was a porcupine, he would chase it. And there was a dog that was like would always defend the pack of like if we got attacked by a bear or if we got attacked by an oxen or whatever, they would always like step in. So like their personalities matter. And what I find dumb about it is that I feel with a proper roguelite, it is technically possible to win your very first run.
Right.
Like if there's a skill, it is a skill-based deal, and if you played real well, you could win your first run. With this, she starts off with so few supplies that I don't think it's technically possible. And then there's also like the random chance of like what's going to happen on the run of like, are you going to see deer? Are you going to see, are you going to get fuel for your fire? I think it's if you were super, super lucky and knew what you were doing, knew like, okay, I should only start a fire under this situation, you could maybe, and I'm thinking like 5% chance win your first run. But it's more seems to be a thing of like, when you fail runs, when you're basically, she gets experiences of like, oh, I saw a bear. Oh, I saw this deal. And then next time she's like, oh, I'm going to bring a little bit more food. Or what's kind of interesting is that you find an axe, and then she's like, oh, next time I'm going to bring an axe. Or like a lighter. She's like, oh, a lighter. I never thought of that. I'm like, how did you go in Alaska and not think to bring a lighter? Yeah. What were you going to do?
So that's like their take on kind of permanent upgrades.
Yeah. And the failed runs are treated as nightmares, where she like, it's like, oh, that's a scary nightmare. But next time, that nightmare made me realize I should have a lighter. And I'm like, yeah, you should have. What were you thinking? And then having those upgrades definitely makes things easier, because like if you don't have a way to start fires, then you'll have to eat the raw meat, which doesn't fill you up as much.
You have to poop.
Makes you cold. Yep, that's it. Overall, like I really liked a lot of the stuff it did. It didn't take too long. And the like petting the dogs and the relationships and the different like stuff that you see felt good to play. My only issue with it was that, by like the third run, there's only so much stuff in the game, and you'll see like it repeating exactly over again, that you're like, okay, yep, there's porcupine, dog's gonna do the thing, I would be interested to replay it with different dogs. Because when you restart a run, you're not picking dogs again. You're going with your same team. I'm not sure how you change dogs, if you just have to do a completely fresh game. But overall, it was very cute. The dog animations were great. The personalities of the dogs showed through, and yeah. Oh, and it's just like really beautiful. It just kind of like going through the world was cool. But it is more than anything, I would say it's like a choose your own adventure type deal, because you were like seeing like here's an oxen. Do I want to look at it? Do I want to shoot it? Do I want to keep going? What am I choosing?
Is it kind of light on gameplay, like as far as driving the sled?
You are not really driving. There are points where they will say, like I would say every few minutes, they will say, do you want to go left or right? And then you can look on the map and go like, okay, well, rivers are up here, You'll get there no matter what, I believe. There's just a matter of like, do I want to go over this lake? Do I want to?
And then random encounters beyond that.
Yeah, okay. But you're not like constantly steering the deal. I had my hands off the controller except when making those choices or shooting deer. I would say the shooting mechanics felt good.
Okay.
Overall, yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with what I got out of the Red Lantern.
What's its price point? I'm trying to figure out if it's like something I'd wait for a sale on, and it's kind of sounding that way.
Well, It started off in launch on sale, so I couldn't tell you the.
I feel like a lot of games do that now. They offer like a 10% off or something right up if you buy it day one, kind of thing.
Let's see if this can tell me. $24.99 full price.
Okay.
So yeah, not a bad price for your time. If you like dogs, it's very cute. Be warned that like they can get hurt. There is a thing to like turn off where dogs can't die. I played several run where the dogs never died. Like I've never had a dog die. I've had dogs get injured, and then like I use you almost always set you always have a med kit. You don't have two, which would be very nice if I had two, because there was times a dog got hurt and I got hurt, and I was like, well, I would like both of us healed, because you can take an injury. I think the deal is that like both you and the dogs can take one injury. You can't take two, because I was already injured and then got attacked by a bear, and then that ended the run for me. But one injury is fine. The main thing that's going to end your runs is both you and the dogs have hunger meters, which almost work as energy meters. And if either you or the dog's hunger meters empty all the way out, then it's over. So that's how I lost pretty much all my runs, except for the one time that a bear attacked me when I already had an injury. So yeah, food's like the big thing that like makes the game keep going. Yeah, Red Lantern was fun. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity put out a demo, which
I just downloaded the demo. I haven't played it, but it's on my list.
It is a meaty demo. You get like 3 or
It's the first chapter, right, of the game?
Yeah, basically you are going up until you like go interact with the other champions. So you get like 3 or 4 missions that you can play through. You can do co-op with it. I played through the first mission, and then I asked my girlfriend if she wanted to join in, and then we played through the rest of the missions. Then we actually redid the first mission in co-op. We both had a lot of fun. I wasn't expecting to really enjoy it. It's got what's the name of the series?
Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah, Dynasty Warriors, where you're just kind of mowing through a bunch of dudes. But it was like kind of fun to do that mindless grinding. And the story is interesting. I will say this. I very much expected the game to have how this is going to end because we know how Breath of the Wild starts. That's not true.
Oh, okay.
Because the game starts with time travel of a person from the Breath of the Wild timeline from
1,000 years in the future.
Yeah, well, it's technically, I believe, from the moment where Zelda does her thing of like, you cannot win, and like stops Ganon from like doing the thing, and she, Zelda and Ganon are locked in that like, whatever, locked in together.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, at that point, one of the little robot dudes goes back in time until like the start of that whole situation, and so because someone's time traveled, we don't know what's going to happen now. They could win, they could not. It's interesting. Personally, I kind of like the you're gonna lose story better.
Yeah.
Like
I thought that was kind of appealing of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Halo Reach did that in, I think, a really cool way. So I would have liked to see that, which could be true, but we don't know that going in now.
The other interesting idea would be if they do tie it in timeline wise, and then Breath of the Wild 2 as a result is like the same exact time as Breath of the Wild, but it's a different story as a result of the time travel. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I forgot Breath of the Wild 2 exists. But yeah, that's
it doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, well, it's going to exist eventually.
It's coming, but it doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, so I very much recommend everybody go just try the demo. It's very meaty. It's totally worth your time, and it's a demo. It's free. And another reason you're like, I'm just gonna play it. your save data will carry over.
That's actually why I downloaded it, because I was like, I'm not going to play this demo. I'll probably get the game. And then I was like, oh, it transfers fine. I'll get the demo.
Yeah. I was not expecting to like it, and I played it, and then I pre-ordered the full game. So it's like, it sold me. I
played the first one on Wii U for a handful of hours, but they kept supporting that game for a really long time, and then they released it on it's on Switch as well, but they released it on the new 3DS at one point, and they kept adding to that game. And that's one I was thinking about picking up, but now that this one exists, I feel like I'm not going to get the first Hyrule Warriors.
I'm sorry, what is it on?
Switch.
Okay. And do you think that with this game coming out, that they will re-release the amiibos
So we don't know that the amiibos are going to work with this. I would not be surprised if they do.
Well, even if they didn't, I feel like this is a perfect marketing scheme to get people to buy them.
Yeah, I honestly think that...
Which I would love. I want them.
I feel like at this point, they are re-releasing all amiibos eventually. It's just going to take a while. You don't know when they're coming, but I feel like at some point or another, all amiibos are going to come again, unless there's something weird with them. Where it'd be like a license.
So even the obscure random ones are projected to be re-released?
My belief is that's the case, but if there's probably a licensing issue you might run into.
I also feel like they've really stepped back amiibo.
Oh my god, they're being released November 20th.
Oh, the same day the game comes out.
They're already doing it November 20th. Cool. Oh my god. Hi guys. I'm going to go ahead and pause the podcast. I need to pre-order every single one of these fucking things. Oh my god.
The only one I don't have is Urbosa.
I bought the 4-pack, so I've got them all. I do need Breath of the Wild Zelda, I think. I need some.
I mean, I just meant the champions, yeah.
Yeah, I need some of the Breath of the Wild champions. I need some of the Breath of the Wild dudes. I need the robot one. Anyway.
The Guardian.
The champions are the only ones that appear to be on the Best Buy website available for pre-order. So
I always get my amiibos through Best Buy just because they're the easiest of I can search for amiibo and everything available will be there.
I just walk into a store, and if they're there, I might buy one. That's how my amiibo collecting goes.
How
blasé of you.
I have 5 amiibos. I don't collect them.
I don't collect them either because I'm not trying to get every one, but I get the ones that I think are cool. There's plenty of ones that I'm
7 amiibos.
But I mean, there's a lot of cool amiibos, so that's just collecting the ones that are cool is a lot of them.
I have 7 amiibos, and I only intentionally procured 4 of them.
The other ones just showed up.
One of them was abandoned at my house by someone who used to be my friend, so I never gave it back to them. One of them was the only one that another friend of mine had, and he was like, "I'm never gonna fucking use these. What do you want it?" And I was like, "Sure, whatever." And then one of them was actually a gift because I got one myself, and then my friend bought another one for me that day.
Yeah.
And then I pre-ordered the Animal Crossing Celeste and Blathers.
That reminded me of the thing I was going to talk about since we were talking about amiibos. We still don't have too much information about the cards. We just know that they're coming.
Animal Crossing cards, yeah.
Yeah, we just know that they're coming November, which it's November as the recording of this, so...
Well, aren't they just re-releasing them?
Yeah, but when, where, how? They said select stores. Which stores? When are they available?
Okay.
Baldur's Gate 3 came out early access. I love it. I have played very little Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. Those games are very cool. They are very different games from what Baldur's Gate 3 is. For one, Baldur's Gate 3 is turn-based. The other ones were not. Baldur's Gate 3 is Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. It is literally, if you have played Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, you will probably know how to play this because they are here is Magic Missile, and you're like, I know magic missile. I know, like, hey, this is the spells that my real life D&D character has, so I know these spells. And it's actually very cool of like, I know D&D, so I can say like I know Baldur's Gate 3. Even my girlfriend, who's like not into D&D as much, but has played, obviously, hashtag Dungeons and Gamers. She knew what was going on, which we both played Divinity Original Sin 2, which was made by the same people and is a very similar game, but a very different rule set. And we played that and we were like, I don't know where to put my points to. I don't know what I'm trying to achieve in Divinity Original Sin 2. Baldur's Gate 3, we're like, I know how to level up. I know what I'm doing here because I know how D&D works. So for fans of D&D, I feel like this is going to be great. I honestly think that if you have played Baldur's Gate 3, you would probably be able to play Dungeons and Dragons because it's the same thing. It has actions, bonus actions, movement. If you understand those systems, that like that's what you get, then you will understand playing D&D and vice versa. And I do think that they've definitely tweaked some of the rules of 5th edition to work for the kind of game that they're making. For one thing, Ranger has a lot of different things in Baldur's Gate 3, which a lot of people who have played Ranger are like, I like this version better. Because instead of favored enemy, where they're like, I like hunting goblins, which just allows you to track goblins easier in normal Dungeons & Dragons, they're like, I am a bounty hunter, which allows me proficiency in investigation, and also it's harder for people to break free of my like tying them up and stuff. And so there's a lot of cool stuff with Baldur's Gate 3. I played through the whole Act 1. I actually got to a point where it's like, I need to stop playing this because I know I don't want to, like, you know, not play it once it's fully released. But then I heard there was a like little cute video that they made that once you reach the end of Act 1, I was like, okay, well, I want to see this cute little video. So I played through the entire Act 1. I didn't do every possible thing you could do, which there's so much, like, there's a thing of, like, there are 2 people you can side with in, like, the main conflict in Act 1, and my girlfriend's like, well, what if you sided with those people instead of the way that we went? And I'm like, yeah, I kind of want to see that, but also I don't want to, like, do every possible thing right now. Let's wait till the game's actually out. But I probably will be playing more. Just I purchased it for Becker's, and I want to try co-op with her. I'm going to have her probably try and make the decisions because I already kind of know what some of the stuff's going to go. But Baldur's Gate 3, even in early access, very, very fun. Very, like, the game is beautiful. The graphics, the textures are great. It is just, you're going to have issues where the game's going to crash. You're going to have issues where the enemies, when you kill them, will just spasm all over the place. Their polygons will just stretch and warp all over the place.
Are like the implications of Baldur's Gate, I think Divinity did it to some extent too, is just like you can have custom D&D campaigns at some point. Like we could take Dungeons and Dragons and just say we are going to have this actual, you know, setup and playable.
Yeah, they have mentioned it's not in it right now,
right,
but eventually they are going to have DM mode where someone can DM
build a campaign.
Yeah,
holy shit,
that's crazy.
You could play a Dungeons and Dragons where someone is controlling the game and stuff, and people are playing through in Baldur's Gate 3.
That's amazing.
That's really cool.
Oh,
that's probably like 5 years away too, isn't it?
Well, okay, so
no way.
They say the game will be fully released in a year. I would not take that for fact. I would like, this is game development.
Feel like that mode wouldn't be in the full release. It would be like, you know, the campaign is the full release.
Yeah, I would say 1.0, I would believe, is going to have all the features they promised, which that is one of the features they promised. I don't know what would be beyond that. So, but I don't think it's going to be a year for this game to be fully released. But it's,
unless they're further along than they're showing.
I don't the state of the game that I have played, it needs a lot of work just for Act 1. I don't know how many acts are in the game.
Yeah, that's also
probably like 5 or 7, right?
Something like that. But I will say, for the area that you start the game in, for what's in the game right now, I am so fucking jazzed to see what their version of Baldur's Gate looks like. The city of Baldur's Gate is going to look so amazing. I am excited to like walk through Baldur's Gate in their version, because like I'm planning to run a campaign in the city of Baldur's Gate, and being able to walk through it in a virtual world is actually very cool. Also, a thing that I will say, like, so my girlfriend has been watching me play Baldur's Gate 3. She loves it. She loves the story, everything that's there. The game's fully voice acted. I wish your character was voice acted more. He will say random things, but not like everything. It's kind of weird. Yeah, story's really good. The romance options are cool. All the characters, all the companions have rich stories. You can make a custom character. You can only make a custom character in the current version of the game. Eventually, you'll be able to play as one of the companions, which is a thing they did in Divinity, is where like you can play an origin character, which are like a character that is built into the story, and then you're just controlling them, or you can make your own character and select a background for them. And I think the pre-built one, the only background you can choose from right now has you from the city of Baldur's Gate. So like there will be things where like people are talking about like, oh yeah, I'm excited to go to Baldur's Gate, and you can be like, as a person from Baldur's Gate, I know about this. So yeah, Baldur's Gate 3, really cool. It needs a lot of work, which I will say they got way more sales than they expected. They have literally been tweeting of like, what did we do? Like we expected like just a small group to help us like iterate on and stuff. And apparently like they, sold shit tons. But I expect this game to be very, very awesome. And even in its current state, it's pretty cool. One last thing that I have to talk about, and it's not really a game, but I have been playing with a new device that everyone was going to want to play with. Well, I'm not going to say that's entirely true. The PlayStation 5 DualSense controller is in my hand right now. It's real. This isn't a fancy trick of the light. This isn't the deal where like people like hold their hand in a thumbnail and then they like Photoshop a controller in. This is the real controller. For some reason, the street date for the controllers and the accessories was October 30th. And so you could buy all the accessories before the actual controller.
Can you hold it up next to your
console.
Xbox controller?
Hold it up next to a PlayStation 4 controller.
Well, okay, so Xbox controller,
Okay.
PS5 controller, and let me go grab a PS4 controller.
Can you hold it up next to your PS5?
No,
What about your Switch Pro controller?
Okay.
Oh, it's a thick boy.
Yeah, I would say it's maybe closer in line with a Xbox controller. Now, something I will say about it, I don't know. I feel like the grip parts need to be a little bit longer, because when I put my fingers on it, both me and my girlfriend have said that it feels like our pinkies just don't quite sit right. Like they're like falling off is an issue that we've had. And I'm like, Am I going to have to like grip round more? Like what's wrong with this that it doesn't feel right? I've heard other people say it feels good, but I'm having issues. Something that's interesting about it is that, so the white, you got the white, the black, and the white. They are different textures, and there's literally like a little lip. If you run your finger across, you can feel where the white ends and the black starts, which, I don't know, if you're gripping around, like if I'm doing a full grip around, my fingers can feel that little like lip in a, I don't know, weird way.
What if you do the like 2 fingers on the triggers? Does it sit better?
No, see, that's what I always do. Is I always have
the your middle finger like that. Yeah, does that sit better then?
Yeah, I guess so. Because my pinkies are higher up, but I never do that. I always do two fingers here and then switch them where I need to do. So yeah,
I think that's
guess.
like a high level FPS controller thing, right? Is like people tend to do the double trigger fingers.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I feel like you need to design for the normal person and then have a pro controller. Yeah, so I'll say that much is that's an issue I have is just holding it. My pinkies seem to slip off, and if I try to like grip real tight, I'm feeling the lip between the white and the black. It looks very cool. I kind of like the design choices. The glow of the blue around the touchpad is cool. I paired it to my PC. It is Bluetooth capable. And so I played, what is that? The like music video game with the girl on like the motorcycle.
Oh, yeah. What is that called?
Sayonara Wild Hearts. I played Sayonara Wild Hearts with it. Weirdly, I tried to play Horizon Zero Dawn with it. It didn't work out the gate with that, but it worked. God.
That's hilarious. First of all,
but Sayonara Wild Hearts worked with it out the gate. And I'm like, okay, so I played with a little bit with that, and I was like, okay, maybe playing a game with it, it'll feel better. And no, I still had that issue of like normal controls feels off.
Is Horizon on Epic?
Yes.
So is it like an Epic Store issue where it didn't support Bluetooth or didn't support that controller or something?
Yeah, maybe it's not reading the controller or something.
That's funny.
Yeah, so that's the PS4 controller.
This is gonna be a 4-hour
PS5
episode
controller.
of Ready Set Gamecast.
I mean, we can move more stuff to quick news. Well, Darian,
It's almost all quick news.
I feel like the news was light this week anyway.
Darian, why don't you tell us what you've been playing? I had a lot of cool games to talk about.
Yeah, you just went into detail with every one of them. I played Phasmophobia. It's a great game. Still in early access. But it's got a lot of cool stuff that's coming, and that proximity in game chat is super spicy. It's amazing. I can't wait for this game to be like fully realized, because even in its early developmental stage, like it's so fun to play.
I've watched people play it, and I feel like it's not a great spectator game, but it seems like everybody really has a good time when they're playing it. If that makes any sense.
I think I feel like it is a little difficult to make it super entertaining unless it's like there's a lot of activity going on. I feel like it gets more entertaining if it's like a professional game and there's more hunts going on. But yeah, it can get really dull if it's a bunch of noobs and it takes forever to find the ghost, and like it can really draw on. But depending on who you're watching, like sometimes a lot of weird random shit comes out of my mouth when I'm playing that game because the anxiety is high and the filter is low. So
yeah, I feel like the anxiety doesn't necessarily translate like when you're watching a stream of somebody playing it, but you can tell like that person playing is actually like really into it in the moment and having a good time.
Yeah. It's pretty great. I enjoy it a lot. I definitely should not stream it, but it's the only game I want to play lately, so I'm streaming it. I also jumped in for a couple games of PUBG yesterday. They actually released a new map yesterday.
Huh.
And it's a squad only map. It's very small. And I think that it's a little bit procedural. Like things aren't in the same place every time, which is a really new thing for PUBG. It was a lot of fun. The first game that we played with a full squad, we got first place, which was exciting. I got a chicken dinner in my once every 3 months I play a PUBG day, and I did it, so it feels pretty great.
Does that have like skill-based matchmaking at all? Like, is it like you haven't played in a really long time, so they put you in with other people that haven't played in a long time kind of thing?
I think so. I think it definitely takes into consideration. I'm moving around a lot. Sorry, I should stop. I think it definitely takes into consideration playtime and experience and stuff, because they've added all of those different elements to the game. But I was playing with a bunch of people who actually play it pretty regularly, so I don't think that factored much for me. I was in a squad of people who play it quite a bit. So
you got carried.
I did get carried, but they made me feel really good about it. They were like, no, you were helpful. You made some good calls. And then, so I played with David, and he was like, oh, yeah, actually, I think it helps to have you there because, like, when it's all of us, we don't really communicate as well. But when you're thrown in the mix, we know you're not super comfortable with what's going on, so we talk a little bit more, and I think that helps us all. And I'm like, great, so I'm just an avenue for you guys to talk more. Okay, perfect. I can take that. Like,
You're like the team manager.
yeah. I was like, I'm just here. But it was fun.
I don't need to be in the game. I could just be like in the voice chat, and it would be the same.
Yeah, and I was like, actually, like, I mean, if someone else wants to come play with you guys, I can just sit in voice chat with you guys and hang out. And they're like, no, we want you here. Huh? It was very fun. So yeah, they have like new guns and a new concept actually on the new map. You can find a secret room key, and there's like these little pyramids that you can open up, and you'll find like really, really good loot, like 8x scopes and like more rare guns and stuff. And there's actually like I think it's called like a critical repair kit or something like that. And it's like, it's similar to how if you pick up your teammates like card or whatever in Apex, and you take it to a base and respawn them, this kit will let you respawn your teammate. So that's kind of cool. That's brand new to PUBG. That's something they've never done before. So,
do you know how often they update? Like how frequently they're pushing out updates?
I think it's pretty regularly. It's like just based on having the game downloaded, I definitely get updates like a couple times a month.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
like, it's definitely still a very well cared for game, and they have lots of pay content and stuff, and they do a season. They're on like their 9th season of like their season pass or whatever. So, like, it's not as big as it used to be, but there's definitely still a pretty decent following. I think they just did a some kind of tournament where every person who participated got a prize, and the lowest prize was $50,000 and the highest prize was $3 million.
Wow.
Jeez.
Participation trophies.
Yeah, they have a decent following.
Making
or
a
at
living
least,
being bad at PUBG. No.
Yeah.
yeah, right. David now wants to be a streamer. He's like, I mean, if I can stream and get decent at it, then maybe I can go and be in this tournament. Like, okay, yeah, be a streamer. Do it. Let's go. We'll be a streamer couple. It'll be great. Yeah, and then I played a little bit of Among Us because, I mean, duh, it's very fun. And League of Legends, the ranked season is going to be over, I think, on the 10th of November. I'd have to double check, but we're getting pretty close to the end of the ranked season. The new champion just came out on last week sometime, maybe Wednesday or Thursday, Seraphine. So she's out and playable now, as well as all the new KDA all-out skins. So let's do quick news.
Talk about KDA.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this brings us to the news.
So the first story we're covering is, or I guess mentioning, is the League of Legends K-pop group KDA debuted their newest music video, which is More. It's another banger. The thing that I'm most excited about with it is that they had Jyra Burns and Madison Beer again, which they weren't in that the baddest song. Yeah. They were the original voice actors or singers for Evelyn and Kaisa. But then in the baddest, they had different people do the voice lines for them. And then in More, again, they're back. So that's kind of cool. And it's another bop. It's another really good song. So that's exciting. They also announced a release date for their Ruined King game that League of Legends Riot is releasing. The turn-based RPG Ruined King is supposed to be on console and PCs in 2021. Kind of political news. AOC streamed Among Us on Twitch with like Pokimane and Corpse, and I don't know exactly who else.
I think Lupo was there.
Lupo, Ilan Omar.
Lots of big creators, but I know Pokimane was like one of the big ones.
Yeah, she seemed to like thank Pokey for setting it up.
Yeah.
So I think she would.
Yeah, Yeah,
did that.
I think when AOC tweeted about it, Pokimane seemed to be the like first one, and then AOC kind of was like, "Yeah, let's do this." So
Yeah, they
I
got
think
400.
Jacksepticeye played for a while too.
Sure, I bet. Yeah, because I mean, I bet a bunch of people that Pokey usually plays with, like she plays with like PewDiePie and Corpse and yeah, Jacksepticeye and Sykkuno and stuff.
Sykkuno,
I don't see AOC playing with PewDiePie.
Yeah, I don't think he was in that lobby.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I didn't watch much of it. I did tune in for a little bit, and she got imposter on her first game. I didn't actually see how that ended up, but it was hilarious. She didn't know anything. She didn't know what she was doing at all. She killed somebody and then reported the body on accident. It's very funny.
My Twitter feed at the time was just like everybody just like live tweeting it. It was like an event.
I mean, yeah, she had a lot of viewers.
She
Like,
had 435,000 viewers.
Yeah.
Ninja Drake level of viewers.
And that's not that's not even accurate. There's because I'm sure like 1 million people tuned in at some point. Maybe not stayed and were
Yeah, I
concurrent
think that's
viewers,
like
but
peak concurrent viewers, right? Where,
Yeah.
you could probably get millions, right, over time.
I'm sure. Yeah, she had tons of people, and it was to try to get the youth to go vote.
Make your voting plan. That was
Yeah.
one of the messages.
Have you guys voted yet?
Yep,
I have
I
not.
did.
Election day, I'm going in. I was excited to see what it would be like on election day. That's why I wanted to wait.
Got to do that early voting. You know, you don't want to be around a bunch of people.
Yep.
I went in, voted early because I wanted to do it in person, especially with all this, like, they're refusing late mail-in ballots, so I'm glad I voted in person, so there was no, like, are they going to accept my ballot? And so I'm voted. I'm glad that's done.
I requested an absentee ballot myself, and for like a bunch of my friends and my boyfriend super early, and then I went and dropped it off at the ballot box because I live right next to it, so to ensure that my vote was counted, but I didn't have to interact with anybody else.
I'm realizing now that by the time this episode comes out, yes, I did vote, just to clarify.
Well,
Tuesday.
That's true. On Wednesday is when this comes out.
yeah.
We won't know right away who the president is, and that's stressful.
Well, as hopefully we won't know right away who the president is because right now they're
We
trying
won't
to.
know it the day of. It's going to take up to like a week's up. I mean, it could take up to a month in some places.
So the thing with that is that that's because of mail-in ballots, but they're trying to make it where if your ballot isn't received by election day, it doesn't count. That's literally
They're
being
trying to. I don't know that they're going to be able to do that on a federal level. I don't
I think it's
that
state
they.
by state. Yeah, that is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's state.
I think there are some states where they're definitely doing that, but not all states. So we won't know right away.
Yeah. It's
It's
just,
also crazy the percentage of people that have already voted early.
Right.
Oh yeah, which if
I
anyone's
think we already have a bigger voter turnout this year than we have in decades. The next thing I'm covering is also Twitch related. A lot of Twitch streamers were issued tons of DMCA takedown notices. Do you get email notifications of that?
Yeah,
did you guys get one?
I didn't.
No.
I didn't either, but also like the last time there was a hubbub about it, like there was somebody who got them, and then there's a big discussion on Twitter. So I went through all my VODs and deleted anything with music. So I had already cleared my stuff, but Becker's did. Like literally like shortly after the Among Us, Becker's hadn't streamed in a long time, and then she streamed Among Us with us, and then she's like, I haven't streamed in years, and then I suddenly get a DMCA deal, but it seemed like everybody got ones who had any music in VODs.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised I didn't get hit because lots of my VODs, like super old ones on Dexterity, have like tons of copyrighted music on them. But I've been very careful about not doing copyright music on my new channel.
Yeah, I mean this I will say, not to take too long, quick news. This seems to be affecting very much the way Twitch streamers handle everything. There are lots of Twitch streamers who are not saving VODs anymore. They've disabled that. I would hope that like you're going to see more streamers be more careful about what music they play, but it seems like a lot of people's responses are, I'm going to delete VOD so that there's not like any
I'll listen to whatever I want live and then not have the VOD.
But
that's kind of a smart way to do it too,
I guess. But also, I've also seen the music companies are also suing Twitch, so this seems like it's going to be a whole thing for a while now.
That's not great for the music companies. That's not good for them to do.
It's the whole thing. I mean, Twitch is also shitty. Everything's bad, and we'll see how things go.
The whole situation is a trash fire.
Yeah, it's tough, and I mean, ultimately, you don't want your channel deleted. So, like, what can you do, right?
Yeah.
It's dumb. Twitch needs to do better for standing up for their creators.
Also, they need to stop playing so many ads because that's fucking over creators.
That goes hand in hand with
Amazon.
why suddenly now they're cracking down on DMCAs. Is like Twitch is getting ad money. Music companies are like, I want that money. So now we're going to crack down.
Yeah, Twitch really should just do better about advocating for their creators, because there's no way that they don't make enough money off of their biggest creators and the portion that they take from them. There's no way. I don't understand how much money they fucking need.
I'm more upset about the fact that like their biggest creators seem to be in a different class from everybody else of like,
right.
Yeah, like they're
immune. The rules don't apply to them.
Yeah, and the like having a bunch of ads can very much ruin a small streamer. People aren't going to check out a small streamer, but like, you know, Ninja, they're gonna wait. It's Ninja. So it's very much ruining things, but we could have a whole discussion about what Twitch is doing.
I could continue to go off about how absolute monster Jeff Bezos just also gets to benefit off of Twitch and how that fucking sucks.
Maybe one of these days we'll bring back topic of the show for that.
Yeah. Anyway. Last thing I'm covering, Playdate. The tiny handheld with a crank. I'm so excited. It's a console. Was delayed to early 2021. But we'll be able to place pre-orders in early 2021, and I will absolutely be getting one of these things. So
I'm interested in it. I think it looks pretty neat.
It's so cool. I'm excited to see all the other games that they have, because the game that they had at PAX West was a game where you're a robot and you got to make it to a date on time. And it was great, because you move forward and you move backward, and just like the whole premise of the game was like very much utilizing that little crank.
Right.
And I'm just so curious to see how versatile they can get with that, because it's just such a weird, unique design.
I like their distribution idea of like seasons of games. So like you'll have a reason every, 6 months or a year to just like check it out again. I'm interested in, I think that.
As someone who loves gadgets,
as you said earlier,
we're little trinkets,
yeah. The play date is very much that kind of thing. So I would be interested.
It is pretty gimmicky, I would say, but it's gimmicky with a purpose.
I would say every gimmick has a purpose. It's just
no.
What's the?
Some gimmicks exist just to be gimmicks. This is a gimmick that like.
What's our gimmick?
Evolved. What's our gimmick?
We're fully functional. Some things are a gimmick, some things are just a thing that does a job.
We're all utility.
Yeah, we're all utility. We're just here to entertain and inform. And nothing else.
maybe that's why I'm so excited about Playdate, is that the console itself is not really a gimmick. It started out as a gimmick, and they just took it to the next level.
I would say it's a gimmicky thing, but we'll see what comes of it.
Gimmicks like come and fade. Like, people aren't gonna be playing the Mario Kart go-kart like in-person game for very long, because there's just not enough houses in the world that can actually sustain that. However, this whole little console is going to do as much as it can to be relevant for as long as possible. I think that takes away the gimmicky thing. Gimmicks are temporary.
We'll see, but I don't think the playdate's going to be lasting that long. But quick news continues with me as your new DJ. World of Warcraft Shadowlands expansion coming November 23rd. If you like World of Warcraft,
Woo.
more of it's coming.
Yeah.
Perhaps you need an upgraded setup to play your World of Warcraft on, and
Probably not. It's World of Warcraft.
You're like, those GeForce, those RTX cards are too hard to come by. Well, AMD has announced their Radeon RX 600 series GPUs to compete. 6,000? Yeah. To compete with the RTX ones. It seems like they are trying to come in under. The RTX 680 will be available November 18th for $649, which is $50 less than the starting price of the 380.
I feel like AMD's really consistently offered more power for a better price for several years now, and I just still am like Intel and Nvidia in my system for whatever reason. Just like I'm not familiar with their branding.
I feel like AMD, like it's cheaper for equal power, but I feel like Nvidia partners with game companies to like make their stuff work with that better. So that I update my driver and it's like, here is the new driver information to make it work with Legion, to work with the Watch Dogs Legion. Like they're specifically catering it, like partnering with the game companies. So like there's something with that. And then there's also like, hey, here's some streamer tools that'll work because you have our stuff. So like they have more stuff going on. Whereas the AMD ones just like, we're the graphics card. We do the graphics. So yeah, there's like the gamerness of it. Amazon cloud gaming service Luna is now in early access. It seems like everybody's got a gaming service now. People seemed excited for this. I will see if this one is any better than the others. We got a first look at a new Spider-Man Miles Morales suit for the game Spider-Man Miles Morales. It is the Into the Spider-Verse suit, and oh my god, it looks just like the movie. They messed with the animations that like it's kind of got that slowed frame rate like in the movie. They have the like POW symbols that'll show up. It literally looks like they just pulled Miles Morales from the movie and put him into the game, and it looks so
That's
effing
cool.
good. It looks so good. So last bit of quick news. If you have a PlayStation VR headset and want to play it on your PlayStation 5, you need an adapter, which you can request one from PlayStation. There is a form that you can fill out that will get you one for free. So if you have a PlayStation VR headset and are planning to get a PS5 like ever, you should probably fill out this form and get your free adapter. And that is all the quick news. We didn't divvy up slow news. So did anyone want to take one, or should I just
Is this also quick news? Because it kind of feels like it.
Well, I can keep going.
I think keep it rolling.
Yeah, just do quick. This is all quick news. There is no slow news.
So Ubisoft detailed which PS4 games will work on the PS5, and now it's not sure, is the headline that The Verge provided. Taking down the post, Ubisoft claimed that the following 9 games would not work on PS5. Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Assassin's Creed Chronicles Trilogy Pack, Assassin's Creed Chronicles India, Assassin's Creed Chronicles, Risk, Star Trek Bridge Crew, Werewolves Within, and Space Junkies. Ubisoft tells us that they should have a correct list of games next week.
Nice.
So the reason that this is news, obviously, if you were like, I'm going to play that game on PS5, that's good to know that like that might not be possible. But Mark Cerny, it is Mark Cerny, right?
Yep.
Said like, hey, we believe like 90% of games are going to work on the PS5 for the PS4. And now with this information, it's like, okay, how much do we actually think is the true? Like, were they just kind of ballparking of like, we tried some stuff, we're pretty confident. But looking at this list, it's like, do you think people should hold on to their PS4? I think is the big question. because I looked at my PS4 and I said I could trade that in for $100 towards my PS5, but if I ever plan on playing PS4, that's maybe not a good idea.
In the context of this question, I'd say, you're probably fine getting rid of your PS4. But in my personal preference, I just keep all my old gaming stuff forever and sometimes play it.
So my thing is I have 2 PS4s, one in my living room, one in my office. So I was thinking, I'll trade in one, but now I'm like, well, what if one of them dies? I would like to have a backup so I can have the option, because it's like I have a PS1 game. I have Digimon World 1 from the PlayStation 1 that I would like to play more. And the only way I can do that is my PlayStation 3 still supports PlayStation 1 games. And if that thing ever dies, I'm effed. I can never play Digimon World 1 again. So, they're having that console.
I mean, you could probably get a PlayStation 3 for pretty cheap now.
I feel like at this point it's kind of like it's super hard to get one because they're so rare.
Oh, because not all of them played PS1 games, right?
No, every PS3 plays PS1 games.
Oh, okay.
Not everyone plays PS2 games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know.
I don't know. I think they'll, for the most part, if they're saying 90% of games will work, it's probably maybe not all features work.
Yeah.
Online stuff.
Just something to keep in mind if you're thinking about trading yours in and you're like, I'll just play Kingdom Hearts on the PS5. Make sure that you know that that's a thing that can happen.
I mean, they'll release a version of it at some point, right? They'll release Kingdom Hearts, the big pack, and you buy all 3 games. And
maybe, but if you're trying to play it right now, if you're like, I'm going to play it tomorrow on my PS5, that's maybe not true. You'll have to find out. Also, if you're planning to play your Oculus VR games after you've deleted your Facebook account, good luck with that, buddy, because that's not the case. So if people aren't aware, Facebook, the parent company of Oculus, the VR headset company, is now requiring that you have to use a Facebook login to use your Oculus. The Oculus Rift, the Oculus 2, they just released a new Oculus headset, and you can purchase games through the Oculus store, and you cannot, they kind of have a walled gate, they have games that are only available in the Oculus store, but the point of all of this is you delete your Facebook account, you lose access to your games. You literally, the thing that says you own that game is now gone. You lose your games. If you say, I don't like Facebook, do not buy an Oculus.
Is that true of other game services too? If you delete your account?
If you probably delete your Steam account, you probably lose your Steam stuff because that's how, but I don't think there's any other game service that is linked to a different account like that. It is very much, I feel like this is a thing where Facebook is saying people are deleting their Facebook accounts. What can we do to stop this? Let's make it so they lose their video games. Let's sell this nice, cheap headset. And that is the thing. It is a very nice headset. It is probably the cheapest headset. It has some really great stuff, but it's still Facebook.
But if you create a new account, you buy this nice cheap headset.
Yeah.
And it works. And you create a Facebook account.
Create a burner account.
You don't have to use that account for anything, right?
Sure, but the problem with Facebook is that they are tracking you everywhere you go. If you have those cookies on your thing, then it's
but if the only thing you're using it for is your VR headset, who cares, right?
Yeah, that's possibly a workaround. Just be aware that that's an issue you're going to run into. Because this is a thing, and by putting this on your face, Facebook now has access to your stuff,
your brain.
They are scanning your eyeballs. So be aware of that, and also maybe don't buy an Oculus headset. I will never buy an Oculus headset because I don't condone Facebook. We got the first look of the Uncharted movie, the movie that I thought would never happen. Is apparently happening because we both have pictures of it, and I think they actually finished wrapping. I think the actual filming of it is finished. We we got a picture of Drake. It is Tom Holland in the Nathan Drake outfit. What do you guys think?
I mean,
He looks like he's in cosplay.
I don't
it just
even know.
Looks
Yeah,
like a
he
Halloween.
doesn't.
It looks like a high. It looks like a really high quality Halloween picture.
Yeah,
He doesn't look like Nathan Drake, but
Right.
He's
also
just too small.
they're going for like a young Nathan Drake story. So
I've
it's
also
not,
never played Undertale, Uncharted.
like he
Oh,
could
yes.
I
almost
have
be
no-
any like you could have told me that's Indiana Jones, right? And I would have been
I mean-
like, oh yeah, sure,
Sure, but Uncharted is basically Indiana Jones, but
right.
it's like a very good Indiana Jones.
But it's just like, yeah, he looks like action dude, I guess,
yeah.
adventure
Yeah.
dude.
I think it looks. Do I think we need an Uncharted movie? No. Do I think this looks pretty good for an Uncharted movie? Yes. I think that they actually nailed the look of him, and he looks.
I think they've
pretty
done
good.
better with Lara Croft, with what's her name, the latest one, Alicia Vikander or something like that. Alicia Vikander, is that right?
No idea. I haven't seen any of them.
I also am pretty firmly in the camp of I don't understand why they're making video games into movies because it can never be as impressive as the video game itself.
Because they want more
Like,
people.
They already made the better medium. Why are they?
Because they know some people aren't going to play the video games, and they want people to experience the story
So they
in
announced-
some capacity.
This movie was announced in 2008.
What?
Yeah, well, it was originally Mark Wahlberg was going to play Nathan Drake.
Right, and then people wanted Nathan Fillion.
Well, now Wahlberg is playing Sully. It has gone from the point where Nathan Drake was what Mark
Yeah,
Wahlberg.
because Wahlberg's too old now.
Yeah, I mean Mark Wahlberg was a bad pick to begin with. That was never a good idea.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I people will probably watch this movie. I probably won't.
I'll try it.
I'm not watching it.
I'll try it. Well, I just want to take a moment to thank the people who are watching us or listening to us and supporting us through the Patreon of thelastgeek.com/Patreon. Thank you, Aaron C. and Dragons Lucas, for supporting the show. We very much appreciate it, and it helps keep the lights on, because if not, then it would look like this.
Spooky.
I'm surprised my green screen is still working. That is very surprising. Okay.
Let's
Thank you.
do it.
Thank you for supporting
Welcome
the show.
to Game Chat. Do we have a jingle?
No? Do you want to make a jingle?
This is Game Chat, where we talk about games, and I feel really bad because the game I picked was really long and none of us thought it would be that long. That was my jingle.
Okay. Well, do the rest of it now.
So we played Astrologaster, which is available on mobile and PC. And it is a game where you are a man pretending to be a doctor and reading the stars to help patients or help querents as they're called. They come to you with their questions or issues, and you make a reading based on the patterns in the stars and the planets that you see, and then try to offer them advice or medical advice sometimes, and even medicine. The game itself is set up like a Shakespearean play, so it physically looks like a flip book, like a picture book, but then things pop up and it's kind of set like a stage with actors on one left and right. It's fully voice acted. There are singing choruses between scenes, which are pretty funny. Like the game itself has humorous dialogue, and I think it's really well written, but because I tried to play it in such a short amount of time, I feel like I wasn't giving it the time it deserved in regards to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, I definitely played it basically all through in one day, which wasn't great, but I will say what we think the estimated time was about 7 hours.
Yeah.
I I don't know, because you're basically you're doing the same thing the entire time. You're people come to you with a thing, you read the stars, and basically the player are going to choose what he sees in the stars.
Right.
So
yeah,
like,
you're often given 2 or 3 options.
Yeah.
And then there's little sub-selections there that kind of give you further descriptions.
Yeah, well, yeah. So you might get like an A, and then you'll get like 5 stars, and that'll just explain what A means.
You're right.
And then but you might get like a Taurus, and this is going to be like, he's got the blights or whatever. And so you'll have people coming to you and saying like, here's my symptoms, and then they'll be like, let me look at the stars, and then like it's almost like you are the stars. You are choosing what he sees. And
no, you're choosing what he says.
Yeah.
All of the stars that are in each option are present. You're just choosing how he's approaching it.
I guess it's
right.
That's how astrology works. It had all 12 houses. I actually really enjoyed playing this game because I just started studying astrology in like my witchy practice, and I was like, holy shit, whoever made this game knows what what they're talking about. Like, this was made with such like care.
That's another thing, is that it's somewhat historically accurate. Like, the person is real and his writings are real.
Yeah.
But they made a fabricated story, fictional story based off of this guy and actual historical documents that you can go see in a library in somewhere in London. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's
not London, in England.
It's based on Simon Foreman. I'm looking at his Wikipedia article. An Elizabethan astrologer, occultist, and herbalist active in London during the reigns of Queen Elizabeth I and James I of England. Okay, so speaking of the history deal, I would say that the thing that my biggest takeaway from this is that this would be a good game, a good educational game. Like, if it didn't involve so much fucking, I would say like put this in the schools, because I like the deal of like, okay, they'd be asking about real life events of like, hey, we're gonna go. Hey, should I go invest in this ship going to this place? How's that gonna work for me? And I was like, this sounds familiar. So I Googled it, and I was like, oh, okay. So in real life, this ship did this. So I had him do that.
Yeah, most of the stuff in the game was historically accurate. They just added dialogue.
Well, so what you can do though is change history by having him pick something else. Because like No, it didn't change history. No, there was
very little you could do to change it. You just changed how people reacted to the things that still happened the same way.
From my understanding, you were talking to the guys who were like, "Hey, we're gonna go raid this Spanish ship," and you had like 2 options of like where could the ship be, and after giving the option, I was like looking up something else. Like, because someone else was like, oh, I invested in this. And I was like, what actually happened with that ship? So I like looked at the history deal, and I was like, oh no, he was supposed to go to this place. This is where, and like like in the history book, I think they like came back with a bunch of shit. And I was like, but I told them the wrong place. So like, then they, came back and stuff was different. I was like, okay, so historically, I think they got that, but I told them to go to the wrong place, and they ended up in the middle of nowhere. Did you guys?
I sent them to the middle of nowhere too. Like, I told them
to
do something, and then he pressed me for like specific directions, and
he asked for the coordinates.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Yeah, this will take a couple hours. Can you come back?" And he's like, "No, right fucking now." And he's like,
and just made it up. Yeah.
Did you guys all do the deal where it was like, "Hey, they'll go sleep with the slutty ladies"?
What?
Which
one? There was one where like Porta Havana.
Oh yeah,
because Relay was like, yeah, I think they'll go sleep with the lady. I was like, I just picked. I was like, I don't know. I was kind of at that. I feel like at that point I was just like, let this go.
That
I don't
felt
care what
early
the fuck
in the game for me.
That was middle.
Okay.
That was very middle of the game.
Yeah.
I think that the time that I checked out of the game was after Avis Allen perished.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
I was
so
just like,
that
I'm
felt like,
good. I don't
that
care
felt
how
like,
this game
a
goes
beginning, middle,
anymore.
and end of a story.
I felt like that was like that should have been the heart of the game. Of like, I felt like the game had too many characters. Like you were doing the same thing over and over, and the only time that you did anything else was that when you were questioned about astrology, and I was like, why would I have paid attention to that? I didn't know that this was going to be.
I felt so dumb after that because I was like, oh yeah, I probably should have been reading anything about the astrology that's there, but I'm just reading the description.
Yeah, it's like he's summarizing it for me. Why would I care about like it's because this house is in? No, he tells me what it means.
The quizzes I think were a little bit too much.
Yeah.
It was like, even as someone who is actively studying astrology, like I couldn't get the astrology questions every time. I was just like, this is just too many and too broad things, especially when it was throwing in the mixture of like the really old science with the astrology, the bile and stuff. And I was like, what is this? Yeah,
the thing with that being that like, okay, when they were like, who is in charge of authority? I could Google that. When it was like what does this thing? What does this star affect in terms of the bile? And I'm like, I'm not like.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's like I don't trust my ability to Google. Hey, does Mars affect yellow bile? It's like that's gonna be too much searching.
Right.
I think this game would have really benefited from like an act structure, right? Like it gave you the facade of a play, and like you're saying, like the Avis Allen story felt like maybe that had a beginning, middle, and end, right? So like maybe that is an act, and like that would be a logical point to jump off the game, right? That's a good session length or something. That was 2 hours of the game or whatever. And
I also agree with Bryce in that there was too many characters.
Yeah.
Like, I think if they would have reduced the number of characters and just made it less letters of recommendation, like 5 letters of recommendation, and there's like 8 people that you talk to. Like, I think that would have helped a lot because there was 13 different people.
How did either of you guys get all 8?
I ended up with 6 or 7. I don't remember.
I ended up with 7. I think
I got 7 and was like 5 points away from an 8th.
Freaking okay. So the chick who dressed in all black, I like on the final session with her. She's like, "Oh, you were right about Mr. S. He is and so she bumped up to 100.
I was waiting for the payoff.
Yeah, she bumped up to 100, and then uncontrollable to me. Apparently, we had been stalking the ladies,
right?
And it's like that felt shitty. Like the player had no way of knowing that. Like that was completely out of our control. In the Dark Lady in her last reading, I was only given one option.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it decreased how she felt.
Yeah. So
because you basically admitted to being a fucking creeper.
Well, yeah. Well, I thought that was like, oh, so this is gonna be a guarantee because he had already been like, oh, I need someone new to love. So I was like, okay, are we gonna get like hamstrung into being with her?
Right.
And then no,
and then she was like, hell no, bro, what?
Then I lost it, which sucks because I was like, I fucked up the first reading with her because I said, oh, you probably have a worm, because I was like, I already guessed one person was pregnant. This person's probably not. They wouldn't do 2.
I told the guy, the guy that was the imposter, when he described the pregnancy symptoms, I told him he was pregnant because I was like,
I did too.
Why not?
God.
I was like, what if he's a woman in disguise? Because I knew he was in disguise.
Right.
I was like, something's off about this
fake,
guy.
Right? They kept talking about his mustache.
And then at the end of that meeting, if you read what he said, he was like, ooh, that was just a little bit close on the shave. And I was like, so I know that he's not who he says he is. But apparently he's not also a woman. That was too far.
Did you read their descriptions each time?
Of like after the meetings?
Yeah, the things
most
they
of
said.
them.
So the second time that I met with, I was skipping most of those, but the second time The second time I happened to
It's
look at it,
raro.
His music was great.
the second time I looked at it, like he had like a kind of he had hemorrhoids. At least that's the thing that I like diagnosed him with.
Mhm.
And his response was like, because he had like that goofy like I'm an idiot type thing to it, and the black lady was always like, what the fuck is with that guy? So we knew something was weird, and then I read his thing, and it's almost like that's their like internal dialogue is what they're like thinking.
Yeah, it's like what they're saying leaving the office kind of thing.
Yeah, like Emma, whose name's changed several times because she kept widowing.
The gold digger.
she was my favorite character. I was like, oh, I know what this girl's about.
Yeah.
She just wants to hear how to secretly kill her husbands. I got you, girl. I'll help you with that. Like, I was always excited when she popped up.
But the second time I ended with Ferraro after diagnosing him with hemorrhoids, he was like, yeah, he might be able to guess that. Like, there's books like that aren't that hard to come by. I was like, I think he's with the doctors because he's like he sounds like he's like testing me. Like this was a thing that like, why would he know what my diagnosis should be? So I like summarized that like he's with the doctors, and then when they were talking about the creeper, I thought that was him.
Right, me too.
Because I thought it was like, oh, he's checking up on my patients. When it came with like the black lady was like, it was you all along. I was like, I have no way of knowing that. That's kind of fucked. Like if that was a whammy,
you were pigeonholed into that bullshit.
Yeah, if that was a whammy that we were gonna get hit with, at least the player should have known to expect that because we were making decisions based on that.
We just get an what is that called in literary terms? It's like an unreliable narrator.
Yeah.
So we can't trust what we're being told necessarily.
Right.
Sure, but like for the most part, we had access to so much information that like
we had access to all of our clients' information.
Yeah,
we
right,
didn't
which was
have
great
access to Simon's inner
manipulating
monologue and thoughts
between them.
well,
yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Which it was too late in the game before I understood that was what I should have been doing the whole time. I was like actually trying to treat people with actual advice. And like after two of them died and weren't completely happy.
You killed two of your
I had two people die because Avis died and then one other guy that was like an addict.
Oh yeah,
he OD'd on me.
No, well he was
an addict. No, the hypochondriac.
Yeah, the hypochondriac.
The guy who was like, "Oh, I think I'm sick with this because my friend told me," and then
like, I kept telling
he
him he's a
drank all of your
hypochondriac.
strong water.
And just kept losing rank.
I diagnosed him with like something wrong with him each time, except for like the second to last one. At that point I said hypochondriac, but like it was like you have spots, like hypochondriac, which means you have spots, and you're like, he doesn't have spots but he is a hypochondriac. So it's like their definition of hypochondriac is different than ours, because it's like there's an actual thing.
Yeah, I always diagnosed him with something that was like less severe than what he thought he had, because like he always had something, but it was never like, your life's not in danger, you just need to chill, dude. And that's what I did. So like initially he'd be mad, but he'd come back and be like, oh, you were right, and it would give me a huge bump. But then I ended up killing him at the end as well with the strong water, because he just chugged it, which was bullshit.
Yeah,
like,
I was mad about that.
You shouldn't do that. Stop. Like Simon just stood by while he did that. Like, are you kidding me? Like, it's not like he's a mouse that ran into the wall and now you can't access him. Like, grab the bottle, dipshit. Throw it on the ground. Like, you could have saved this man.
I did love the Simon's response when the doctors were like, you killed the man, and he's like, well, like, it wasn't because I was
technically killed himself.
Yeah, it was like, it wasn't because
he shouldn't have been practicing medicine.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was great.
But I do want, like, we all diagnosed him with the plague, right?
At the end,
At the end, yeah.
Yeah, so I do wonder if, like, okay, if we said anything else, would he have, because we would not have given him strong water, would he have lived?
Right.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know, but like at that point, I was like, I'm not going to get all 8 recommendations. Like I knew then, and then I still had most of the game, I felt like, to go.
I was so pissed because the lady in black, I feel like the second to last session, I was just like 5 points off. So I feel like if I had diagnosed her with being with baby the first time, I could have got that recommendation from her.
That lady drove me nuts because I diagnosed her with shit, or like I told her what the stars told me, and then like she wouldn't be satisfied with it. She was like, no, screw you, and she left. And I was like, okay, well, there's no way I'm getting her letter of recommendation. And then her last 2 sessions, both times she came back and she was like, oh yeah,
you
great,
were right,
you were right.
Yeah.
And so I got a bunch of points. And then that last session, same with Bryce, I should have gotten the recommendation, but for some reason, I had to admit to being a creep, and there was no other choice. So I got screwed out of that one, and I was like, you're kidding, right? Like, I did everything right with this character, but because I didn't reach 100 prior to this interaction, I didn't get it. This is horseshit. So who is your guys' favorite character that you interacted with?
So one more thing is due to the length and the fact that there were so many characters in like that last stretch, when they introduced the actor, I was like, no, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
like,
I know. When it was like a new character came in late in the game.
I was like I liked the payoff of him and the Black Widow chick like getting together, but like I very much did not want to see a new character at that point.
Yeah, I think I don't know. If you're listening to this and you haven't played the game and you want to play the game, I'd say like play it over the span of a month.
Yeah.
And just
really take
casually
your time with
play it. Play a couple
Treat
interactions,
it as if it's like
take a break.
a TV show or something.
I think listening to it's important.
I think the audio was pretty good.
Super important.
Well, at the end, I was just skipping the music. Honestly, like I thought it was cute in small doses, but like the 10th time that a character had a song, I was like, I don't care, just get him in here.
I did enjoy that though. Like with each character had very like kind of unique songs about them, like Mary Payne, and every time it would like rhyme. It's like, oh, she's a snitch, husband in a ditch, and what a fa la 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 la, and every time it would have rhymed with like, a swear of some kind, and then it would end in fa la 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 la.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved how the chick who was just like, everybody sucks, they're all Christians or Catholics, and then
that's her, Mary Payne.
Yeah, and then the last end of stuff, I was just like, you need to chill the fuck out, lady. And it was like, oh, actually, this is November the 5th, the gunpowder murder plot.
This one's actually happening.
Yeah, this is actually the Catholics. Like, you're actually all right on this one. But like at that point, I was at like 0 with her. I was like, I could tell you whatever you want, and I'm not getting a letter recommendation, so I really don't give a shit about you, lady. Get the fuck out of my office. Don't come back.
The other thing that was like not abundantly apparent was the passage of time.
Oh yeah,
I feel like the newspaper or like the hear ye call outs were kind of that, like those breaks that were like, you're not seeing a patient today, but there's something else going on, were indicative of like years changing or something like that. But
I don't remember if it was the Moore character or the DeVroe character, but it was like he had a fever that happened every day or every 4th day or every 3rd day. And I got screwed on that one because I did it wrong
too.
I did 3.
No, I did too. I was
because he said Friday.
Yeah.
And then it was like, today's Monday or something.
What day is it? Like, I don't even know. How are you supposed to get that one?
I think he said the day before and the day before that and then the Friday. So I was like, wait, like, can you say it again?
It was just too unclear. If he had said, oh yeah, it sounds like he got the last fever 4 days ago or whatever, like the description did not help you with that, because it was like, okay, well, it's not every day, that much is clear, but I have no idea how many days it's been.
Yeah, I thought it was Monday and it was Tuesday or something.
Yeah. I was like, okay, cool. Do you not know how to count? Do you not know how to speak, dude? Like, screw you.
I think the game would be better with some pacing deal of an act situation. Like literally they could have patience and then it ends with that like hear ye, and then that's the end of a like act. Like a stage comes down, like that would have made
curtain roll. Yeah.
Because I feel like if you are playing this casually you wouldn't know when to stop. When is a good place to like close it, because the way like you could, and it's not like I just ended a character's thing, because like a character's story could like go over like
spanned over years.
Yeah, it could
Avis Allen's story was over years.
Or you could see a character's like back to back for a while. Like you don't know how far apart you're gonna see these characters.
Yeah, like it was clear. What is the Lady in Black's name? I don't feel good just calling her Lady in Black over and over again.
I think you asked us who our favorite characters are. I think probably she's my favorite. Like I kind of like
I enjoyed hers.
I think it's like she was that creative person, and her kind of being like juked by Mr. S. I appreciated that.
Who was Shakespeare?
Yeah.
Right. They started
it was Shakespeare,
name dropping him
which
later.
is amazing.
Yeah, like you call him right away. A playwright
That
name.
was Amelia Lanier.
My problem is that for some reason every time I think of Mr. S, I think Sherlock, and it's like no, it's Shakespeare.
Yeah.
I think my favorite was is it Dean Blagg?
Oh, he had an interesting.
Blogg?
The one that like he was really bad with his finances.
Yeah.
I
and
hated him.
Then his wife, right, showed up. And so I think I really liked like he's like, don't
The
tell my
dynamic
wife,
of their
and then you
stuff.
can use that information, tell his wife if you want to. And then like the Archbishop was also asking about
it
him,
was
so there was a lot of
great.
interplay there.
Their dynamic was great because he was lying to her about money and she was lying to him about fucking everybody. It was great.
but she was She was fucking people because of the money.
Right.
They were both like trying
She's
to
looking to have a child, right? To then have finances or something.
Well, I think she was trying to like blackmail, like sleep with somebody who would get her money.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
Like the person.
She was trying to sleep with another person in the church because she thought he was going to die and she wanted to be in his will and stuff.
Yeah.
And like that seemed to be her drive, was like sleeping with people to get ahead in the church, which was really weird.
Yeah. I think like both of them were kind of like worried about their money issues and trying to solve them in different ways. And I did like how that story played out, like finished out.
Yeah.
I do like, okay. I do wonder like how much of our choices actually mattered.
I wanted to know that too, because none of us hit the 8.
I did.
Did we fail both?
But I cheated.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
So okay. Do we want to
I did get 8 letters. I got 4 naturally, and then when I totally screwed Amelia Lanier's story, I was like, I had screwed her story and like 2 other stories, and Humphrey Bell hadn't been introduced yet, and I was a little panicky. I was like, oh my god, I'm not gonna get 8 letters. And then I was like, is it too late to get 8 letters? Because I wasn't doing super well with the Payne lady, Mary Payne, and I had just screwed something with Alice Blogg, and so like I was like, I'm not gonna get this without a walkthrough. So and after Avis died, I was like, I don't care what happens anymore. I'm gonna cheat. So there were some points where I was like, I can't tell what the right thing is, and so I'd quickly like look up what I was supposed to do. But
yeah, I feel
I don't think it changes the end of the game very much. I think the same ending happens.
I feel like the game didn't really have a strong narrative through. Like there was a bunch of like small stories, but the man himself, Simon Foreman, like I didn't feel like he had a like strong character arc.
Yeah, I don't know that.
I disagree.
I don't know that was like the story though, right? It is more just
each individual
slices of people's lives.
Wait, my favorite character was Sybil Fortescue. I didn't talk about that.
Oh, the party
She was
lady?
great. Yeah, because when she first comes, she's like, "Oh, we served the green potatoes," and I was like, "Okay, dummy, you served bad potatoes. Don't do that again." And then the second time she comes through and she's like, "I tried to smoke these relaxing vapors," and I was like, "This bitch smoked pot. She smoked pot."
Okay,
Bryce.
So Erin was sitting behind me while we were playing through this. It seems to be like whenever we do race a game chat, she hangs out. I mean, she watches me play video games all the time. But anyway, so when the green potatoes thing came up, I was like, that's not good. And she's like, oh, it's not that uncommon. And I like Googled it, or like green potatoes, and it's like, oh, green potatoes mean they're full of toxins and real bad. And she's like, oh, there was an episode of Arthur where the chick ate a green potato chip and she thought she was going to die. And I was like,
I feel like I remember that.
Yeah, DW, yeah.
I was like, honey, A, that's a potato chip, and B, maybe let's not like take medical advice from the TV show Arthur.
Well, also, like in Minecraft, the poison potatoes are green. So I was like, that's not good. That's not a good thing you did. If I get poison potatoes in Minecraft, that's bad.
And also in real life, green potatoes are bad.
Green potatoes are typically bad. Yeah. Sybil Fortescue, I liked her because she seemed like genuinely like, I'm an entertainer and influencer, and like, I don't want to hurt anybody. I just want to show everybody a good time. Like, I have this fantastical wealth and I would like to share it. Like, it wasn't like, it was from a high-handed place. Like, I'm very good and proper and amazing, but also like, come see all my fancy things. And I was like, you smoked pot and are not, you were full of anxiety and paranoia, and like that's something that can happen. So like, way to go. Yeah. Don't do that again.
I want to double down on the fact that like at the end of the day, I think this game is a very good educational game. Like it is telling you historical events in a way that like knowing these historical events, looking up these historical events are good to winning the game. Like knowing like, okay, you know, these guys are going to America. How's that going to work out? Look up the Wikipedia article. Who's this? This guy is going to go do this. How's this going to work out? Because you are trying to predict the future through these stars. So telling them.
Yeah, you were punished for not knowing history. So I feel like this could be used as like a fun, entertaining way to cover or to like distract kids after you've covered the plague.
Draw those
like
connections. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Or encourage them like, hey, open Wikipedia while you're playing this. Like, look up the end. Like, don't look up a walkthrough.
I think it's a better review tool because otherwise you're just going to be looking stuff up the whole time. I don't think I don't think you'd use it to teach. I don't think that would be effective.
So no, I don't think. I think this would be a stand-in for like. I know like a common thing in when I was a kid was Oregon Trail is like, hey, it's the educational game Oregon Trail, and it's like. Sure, Oregon Trail existed, but did we really learn anything other than you have died of dysentery? Like, did anybody actually know what dysentery was?
Right, it like supplemented the expansion westward.
It did.
They didn't teach me anything with Oregon Trail. That was just like a fun, like, oh, you learned about this. Here, now you can play this fun, goofy game and draw the references. But yeah, the Oregon Trail for us was used as a review tool, similar to how I would think they'd use this.
Well, I don't think like knowing stuff about Oregon Trail doesn't help you win Oregon Trail. Knowing history, knowing both history and things of the world is going to help you win this because like you like green potatoes, you know, those are bad. The weed thing of like, that's weed. The peppers, that was a deal of like,
the spicy peppers. The smaller ones are worse. Yeah. That was great.
Yeah. So there's so many like educational things that like can be gleaned from this of like, oh, let me know, hey, why was this the case? Oh, because his smaller peppers are bad. So it had a lot of like interesting historical stuff, and the fact that all of this guy was real, these stories were real.
Yeah,
it's very cool. But
how did your playthrough end?
I'm pretty sure both me and Matt got the same. So Darian,
yeah.
So you guys should talk about yours first.
You're the odd man out.
I was given 3 options of how Foreman could interpret his future, basically.
So was I. I think the endings are the same regardless of if you get the letters or not.
No, so, well, I think what happens before we get that, like, how to interpret the ending is that we got boarded in.
Yeah, I got that too.
Okay, so even, did you get a doctor's license?
The second wave of the plague.
Right.
Yeah.
You still got boarded in. Yeah, I got a license. I got a medical license. They still boarded me up.
Okay.
But I didn't die in there.
I don't think I did
he dies
either.
There.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's the case.
You get the same ending. I think it's just your relationships with the other characters or what changes.
Okay, so I guess that kind of makes me feel like you're kind of hamstrung that you are going, like, our choices don't matter that much.
Right.
Right.
like they do reference, hey, last time you said this or whatever, but that almost just seems like how close you are to the letters of recommendation.
Right.
Yeah.
And then also, like, you're going to see people for a set number of times anyway. I always thought that was weird, especially when it was like, okay, I've nailed it. I've got the recommendation. I still have to see this person 3 more times, or something like that. Or
Some
I'm
of
doing
those
terribly.
weren't accurate though.
There was one I think that jumped over one because I think I went 1, 2, 3, and then I didn't see him the 4th time, and then it went to 5. Like,
Yeah,
it's grayed out.
Some of it would affect how many times you saw the person, because I only got like 4 or 5 interactions with Simon when there was like a total of 6, and that was because I messed something up with my interaction with Avis. So it really depends. What really changes is how you interact with the characters throughout the game, not the general storyline, because it is pretty well based in history. Just mostly how your interactions with the characters go throughout. Like, I think the ending's the same because history was the same.
Yeah.
Just you had the chance to mess up a few small things along the way.
And I think the last question of like, how is history going to remember me? I would imagine all 3 of those options are true. It's just which of them, because I did I'm going to accurately predict how I died. That is true. He in the Wikipedia article, it says in 1611, he accurately predicted his own death on the River Thames. Another astrologer, William Lilly, reports that one summer afternoon in September of that year, Foreman told his wife that he would die the following Thursday night, and sure enough, Monday came, all was well. Tuesday came, he was not sick. Wednesday came, and he was still well, with which his impertinent wife did much twit him in his teeth. Thursday came, and dinner ended, he very well. He went down to the water side and took a pair of oars to go to some building he was in hand with in the puddle dock. Being in the middle of the Thames, he presently fell down, only saying, an impost, and so died. The most sad storm of wind immediately following. I'm almost wondering, like, did he, like, take poison or something? Like, if I predicted my own death on the Thames on Thursday, I would stay the fuck away from the Thames on Thursday. But did he go like, okay, I want people to like believe me in the end?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty suspect.
Did you guys? What do you guys go for your choice of?
I did the same one. That was option C, I think. It was like, you'll go on a voyage or something, and he's like, oh, the only voyage I'd go on is on the river, and
I don't remember which one I picked.
Yeah.
It was insignificant for me at that point. I was like, well, I got the letters.
You got your license. Yeah.
I still got locked in, so that's stupid.
I found
Who cares?
I found it dumb that like one of the letters I got was from the literal guy who would decide. And it was like
John Whit whatever.
Yeah.
Whitgood.
Yeah. So like when he gave me the letter, I'm like, I'm good. I'm so like, I got it. Who the fuck cares about the rest? But then I was like, my dude was like, well, what about my medical license? And he gave the same line that gave to the other people who wouldn't get the bishopship.
Jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool game.
I
played over a longer period.
Yeah. I very much. I wouldn't say play it over too long because, there's a lot of story to keep track of.
Right.
I really like the relationships, knowing the different people and seeing how those interacted. Like there was a playboy guy who wanted to sleep with everybody. And then when like hearing about him talking to the Black Widow chick, I was like, oh, I know who you're talking about. Maybe not. No, not that one.
Don't do that. That's a bad idea.
So seeing the interaction between the knowledge you were able to use was cool. But, overall, like the way we played it wasn't great, and I feel like that it needs either to be trimmed down, less characters, we don't need so many, or an act play thing.
I think pacing, right?
Yeah.
So that because all the interactions are ultimately the same, and like that got, I don't know. Even after a couple hours, I was like, okay, when is my stopping point? And then I was like, oh, it's just when I choose.
Yeah.
So that's why I think like mobile would lend itself better, because it's like, I only have so much time before I'm going to go do something else on my phone or whatever.
Yeah, I think this would be a good Switch game too.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, touchscreen. I did like when it was like flip the page, I was like, oh, I could see why this is mobile because it was a bit weird to flip with the mouse.
Yeah.
But it would be probably pretty satisfying with a, tablet.
Yeah, strong points. The music was really good. The art was really cool. The way it approached the story was really interesting. Instead of like just a narrative that's just telling you a story, it was more interactive and just fascinating. Visually appealing, and the astrology was pretty accurate, so that was cool. Also, when it's based in history that's pretty close to accurate, that's fun too.
I feel like the game didn't punish me for not learning anything about astrology, really.
It was weird that like I got sent to jail twice, and somebody was just like, "I'll get you out." And I'm like, "What kind of jail system you guys got going on?" But also so much that when Whitmer refused to give us the license, he was like, "I'm scared of the doctors." And I was like, "It seems like you don't need to be. Like, you can get out of doctor jail pretty easy."
I messed things up with Avis really bad early, and that made me really sad. I just kept accidentally picking really bad things. I just couldn't figure out what she wanted to hear. And I was just like,
what?
Oh, shit. But I got her letter of recommendation early enough that it didn't matter because she just loved me so much.
Yeah, I feel like I got my letter of recommendation the first time we fucked, so.
I got the letter of recommendation on like her second visit.
Yeah. Feel like that was when we fucked.
I remember that's when I went into the chat in the Discord and I was like, oh, I should not be sleeping with my clients. That feels icky. I don't like that. I fucked up.
Also, I've read over the Simon Foreman Wikipedia article. And speaking of her, I'm going to read you the bit of. With notable sexual appetite, Foreman pursued numerous women. He wrote of his conquests in his diaries, showing as little regard for the background of his anonymities as their location of consumption. Many of his clients provided brief affairs. He wrote of his first sex with his beloved on 5/12/1953, 5 p.m., London. Then writing after she died, 13/6/1957.
Wait, 16? Or
it was not 1597, so it was 5
15.
years. 5 years difference. So I'm pretty sure that's,
That's 4 years.
3
93 to 97.
5, 6. Yeah.
4 years.
4 years. Yeah, you're right. See, this is why
Not even 4 years, because this was in December of 93 and she died in June of 97. So it was like 3.5 years.
This is why I beefed that diagnosis. Can't get my numbers right. Yeah, so I imagine that is referring to that chick. We didn't see anything about the chick he married, but apparently it didn't really matter because he married somebody and they just kept fucking, which apparently is the theme of the game.
Yeah, that's like most of it's like, who's going to church, what church are they going to, and who are they fucking?
Yeah. It's like you could keep mentioning like you're married and be like, who gives a shit? Even the bishop was like,
yeah, the bishop's like, oh, that was the only issue? Yeah, give me a real issue.
Yeah, like I saw him at the orgy last week. Yeah, I know. Yeah, so it was interesting. Just fix the pacing. And I don't know. It would be nice if there was a little bit more variety to the
game action, like what you're doing. Yeah. Maybe like require you to learn a little astrology in there, like force your hand to like make some calls.
Yeah. Of being actually like going like, hey, this is Mercury, then so this means that. Okay, well, the next time we're gonna do Race at Game Chat is in the future, which we will announce later.
The distant future.
But before that happens, we're going to the questions and comments section of the podcast.
Woo. Do you want to be part of the show?
Yeah, I forgot. There's no questions out.
Well, you still got to tell people how to do that.
you want to be a part of the show? Go to readysetgamecast.com/submit to submit a question, comment, or your favorite astrological sign for us to read on the show.
Nice.
I will admit that at least once I was like, I don't know what he has. I'm going to go with Libra because I'm a Libra. Okay, well, this brings, there's no questions, comments, or astrological signs, but we do have housekeeping. Go to lastgeek.com for the links to the podcast on all your favorite podcast services, including iTunes, Spotify, and Stitcher, as well as the video version on youtube.com/lastgeek. I'm stretching. My back just cracked. If you like the show, please subscribe, rate, and review it on iTunes and Stitcher. It helps us grow and become more powerful.
Oh. Had to stretch before the flex, you know?
Yeah, I did that too.
I also did it. I spoke about it in my voice. Other Last Geek stuff you should check out. Game Make Corp still exists for now. Get it while it's hot and still alive. But the hot new thing, the thing that all the cool kids are talking about, is Dungeons and Gamers. It's a podcast. It's out on YouTube and podcast services everywhere. Do you got Spotify? It's there. Do you got YouTube? It's there. Do you have Amazon Music? It's there. Episode 4 of Dungeons and Gamers is out. The first appearance of Belladonna. It's played by Darian.
That's me.
New episodes, I have discussed with the editor, and she feels confident that I can inform you that new episodes will come out the last Monday of each month, starting in November.
Wow.
So follow Dungeons and Gamers on Twitter for updates and cool stuff, character art, cool stuff. Please subscribe to it on your podcast devices. Check out the video. There's a lot of work put into the video. There's both character images, cool animations, great stuff overall. youtube.com/lastgeek. Check it out. Bryce has already done his Extra Life stream, but if you want to help donate, you can go to lastgeek.com/extralife. Right now, I have raised the most amount of money in South Dakota for Extra Life this year. Can we maintain that lead? With your help, maybe. lastgeek.com/extralife.
That's pretty cool.
The bar's not that high. It's South Dakota.
Still.
Where can people find you, Matt?
At Dilbert Pickled on Twitch and Twitter, mostly. I don't necessarily post on either of them a lot if posting is streaming on Twitch. But now that I have my new office set up, I'm in it. I'm in this room now. It's my old room, but it's my new room because it's different. I got a new desk. The wall's a different color. Things aren't on the walls. But yeah, I'll be here in this room. Don't find me here though. Just find me on the internet.
Oh, there goes my trip out east. Darian.
I'm twitch.tv/awitchyfairy. I also have a Twitter account. AWITCHYFAERIE. My voice choked me. Do I have to redo all of it?
You gotta put in the or else you won't find her.
Yeah, make sure you put it in the I'm not gonna tell you what key that is. It's not. It's not.
It's under the keyboard. You have to like unscrew your keyboard and add a new keyboard.
The secret button inside of your keyboard. No, I've been streaming. I try to stream about 3 times a week. I haven't figured out what single player game I'm gonna be playing through in November, but I'm thinking it's gonna be The Witcher. I was told to finally visit that game. So I think I'm gonna do that.
Baldur's Gate 3 is out. I mean,
it's not out. The first act is out.
It's play. I put like 48 hours into the first act, so
that's insane.
I will say,
I don't think I want to commit to that this early in its development because then I'm never, ever, ever going to finish the game. That almost guarantees I'm never going to finish the game.
I will say that there was a character, a companion that I had apparently just been walking by several times that I was just like, okay, there's characters. And then I was like, because they show you like all the potential companions like on the loading screens and stuff. You're like, these are all the dudes. And I was like, where is he? And then like after I'd reached a point where like, oh, actually like you can't access him anymore until you resolve this issue. And I was like, well, I kind of want him for this fight, so I loaded up a past save before I had done all that and went and got the dude. And yeah, so I replayed a lot of stuff, also redoing decisions of like, because it actually has you roll dice for stuff, and then you get to add your modifiers and stuff. So it's not just the deal of like, do you have this number, which is like a thing that
so were you like save scumming?
Yeah, I save scummed a shit ton. Okay. Because, yeah, it kind of sucks. There is an element of, like, I have, like, a +5 to this, and I can't, like, do this because whatever. So you get, like, I need to hit a 3, but I got a 2. Are you kidding me?
That's what happens.
Yeah, that's that.
Gotta roll with it.
But, yeah, I save scummed quite a bit, but it's the early access, so I'm kind of like I can see what happens, and then on my real playthrough, I can play it legit. You can follow me on Twitter at LastGeek. You can follow me at youtube.com/LastGeek. You can follow me at instagram.com/LastGeekPlays. I think I posted clips from Dungeons and Gamers at both of those places. You can follow the Twitter account Dungeons and Gamers. It's the words Dungeons Gamers, no end. Also, we're doing a thing that if you tweet about the show using a cool hashtag, we could name an NPC after you. Do you want to be the character that saves us from death when we least suspect it? Well, tweet about it. Or do you want to be the big bad? Maybe, I don't know how the NPC names will get used. You could be any of them. You could be all of them. Who knows? Instagram.
It could be all of them.
Yep. Just
it won't be, but you could.
Just constantly tweet every day of like, hey, did you hear about this part? About this part? I'm like, and the Jiminy just keeps showing up. He's like, hey, how are you guys? You guys need anything? Because he's our biggest fan. I'd be
okay with a character like that.
I would love the idea of like if Dungeons and Gamers had a really dedicated fan in like real life who kept talking about the show. Katie put in an NPC who is like a big fan of the party, who is like,
that'd be amazing.
Hey, you guys seem really cool. I'm just like gonna like talk about how cool you guys are and what you're up to. But anyway, that's some great places to follow me. LastGeek.com will get you links to a bunch of stuff. Links to all the audio files and stuff. There's a cool About Us page where you can see pictures of me and Aaron and Becker's and the cool like descriptions I wrote about us. They're great. Where I talk about how Darian secretly wants to punch me.
Not so
it's
secret
not a
now.
secret.
And well, there's some people who don't know. The people who don't know who either of us are. Well, that's all I have for you. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope all of this was great content that you would like to listen to in the future. If for some reason this is your first episode, please hit subscribe. If this is your last episode, I'll miss you. And
we'll be here. You can always come back.
Catch you again in 2 weeks. Goodbye.
Bye.